Welcome back, everyone, to
Hello,
Between the
hello.
Lines. We're so excited to be back, and we're here to remind you that we are really going to talk about the things that you're thinking and feeling, but not saying. And we're so excited to be back. Like me and Lori were saying, this feels like a new podcast.
It
Like,
feels like
same
a whole
people,
new beginning. Exactly.
same vibe, same name, but totally different energy. And let us know if you're
Absolutely.
feeling this like difference in energy too. And we thought about starting off with just like recapping a little bit where we were at the end of 2025 and that last hoorah of the snake, right? When it was January, February, it was still the year of the snake. And then how are things shifting for us now in 2026, the year of the fire horse? And then we'll see where we are led.
Isn't it crazy what we went through, Chan?
I mean, I'm sure everyone, like the rebirth, the death, and I should say the death
Yeah,
and the rebirth are some one of honestly the wildest, most visceral death and rebirth experience I've ever had in my life. Because I've had
same.
a lot of dark nights of the soul and blah blah blah, purging and all that. But 2025 and then moving into 2026 was like, whoa! I never experienced something like that.
I honestly I honestly feel like as if I'm a whole new person.
I know, but it doesn't feel like you're a new person, but you are yourself again.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Like I feel like I was reborn, but basically I just completely detached from everything that wasn't me.
Oh my god. I think the
And
keyword,
the difference was so clear. Like when everything detached, I was like, of course I was holding on to that narrative, to this, to that, to that. So it's to a point that I remember actually I was telling you that I was like, at some point I'm like, who am I?
yeah,
Because like once you forget, like once you like distance yourself and detach from the things that you thought that was you, now you're like, but I have nothing to hold on to because all the narratives are gone. So you're like, who
yeah.
am I? But there's such a beauty in that because
Yes.
now it's like, wow, I get to detach from all that BS and just actually be and do the things that I'm aligned with,
Yeah.
right?
I think a huge keyword is detachment. Like, so it was so clear that whatever we were holding on to or was a part of our experience or our identity for the last 9 years pre 2025 just couldn't come with us in 2026 in the year of the fire horse. It was like
It was
it's
impossible.
it's going or like it's going or you can bring it in but you're going to live with this for another 9 years. But most of the time it was like, yeah, you could but no. Like no, we're like ripping it away.
Exactly.
And I know
Exactly.
so many people who have gone through relationship breakups, divorce,
So
moving
many.
house, a lot of like, past people passing away. A lot of things came to completion last year, which was very hard. It felt like when something, like for me, 2025 felt like the parts of me that were wounded and they were hanging on for dear life and like digging their nails into me and like yelling and like, please don't let me go. So like everything felt louder, and now
Like
it's
as
just
if
like
they were
it's
hanging on
all,
tighter for
yes,
dear
yes,
life before they let
exactly.
go. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then now I'm just like, I don't even know that person. Like I don't feel those things anymore.
Exactly. But because they like you completely detached, you know? And I think this is a huge confirmation because some like we tend to feel that like oh all of these things are just happening to us, but it was so universal that anyone can relate to what happened,
In their
right?
own way. Yeah.
In their own way. So I guess this is also your confirmation if you're listening that if you went through things like this, then we like you weren't alone.
Welcome to human life.
Exactly, exactly. But yes,
So,
it really did feel. It really did feel that I was hanging on very strongly at some point, to the point that I felt like my hands were bleeding to it. Like I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not gonna survive. I need to hold on to this." And then at some point, the pain was so hard, like the pain was so strong, I would say, to hold on, that I was like, it's easier to let go than to hold on. And that's the moment that the shift happened.
yeah. And to get a little bit maybe more intimate and vulnerable, like, what is one thing, let's say identity shift or like an old wound that now you've detached from? Like, what can you speak on one of those and share with everyone? And I'm
Yeah.
sure they'll connect to that.
Well, I think for me, it was the general theme was a lot of acceptance. Like I had to accept a lot of things in my life that I was resisting. Like things like, for example, that hurt you, caused you pain. Like, um, if I can give an example. Like for example, accepting that this is where my life is at this moment, because a lot of times, like if I speak on my term, a lot of times I'm like, it's as if I'm constantly chasing something, and I'm constantly like attached to an image that is already in the future, but I don't stop and accept where I am right now in order to get there. So one thing for me that I had to really accept is that I really have to full-heartedly surrender to the outcome, to anything that goes past the present basically, so I can finally give myself the freedom and the comfort of actually making things happen. Because if you don't accept where you are in your journey, if you don't accept right here, right now, where your 2 feet are, then you're never going to be able to take a step forward to get where you want. So for me, I think it was a lot of acceptance, accepting that this is where I am, even though it's not where I want it to be, even though whether it be with my health or my relationships or with my family, I was like, I need to accept on all in all spheres of my life that this is where I am. These are where my 2 feet are, and this is where my I'm starting. And once you accept that, everything starts going quicker,
Yeah,
right?
isn't
So I
that
think I think for
wild?
me it was a lot of and accepting is hard because sometimes we don't want to see the things, right? Sometimes like for me it was like the things that I decided to not voice or not shed light on in my system. So if I don't acknowledge it, then it doesn't exist. But for you to be able to r- like literally relieve yourself from certain things or find freedom, you have to voice it, you have to put light on it so you can finally detach from it, right? So I think it was a lot of discomfort because I was like, oh my god, I'm actually putting light on the things that I didn't want to put light on, but that was the thing that set me free.
Yeah. Oh
So
wow,
yeah.
that's so nice said. The thing that set you free. And I think everyone had to do some level of accepting
Yeah.
last year. And the ones who did more accepting, obviously you're going to experience more ease now, right? And accepting is so underrated, but it is so transformational. And like, I realized that too. Like for myself, there was a lot of things I didn't want to accept about, I don't know, all kinds of things. And I was resisting it so much because if you don't accept, you're in resistance. And the more resistance that you're in, the more everything just doesn't work.
Exactly that.
And
And
just like,
grieving, like I feel like a lot the theme of grieving with all the snake year and all of it was very present, but grieving also like the small things,
grieving
like
who you were, grieving your old identity that no longer fits you and is just, you can't bring it into the life that you're going into, like the life you want, the relationship you want, the career, the whatever you want. It's a different version of you that is
absolutely.
there.
Yeah. So grieving that sometimes you
You
have to
have
let
to
go of
grieve.
things that once lit you up, and like, but also I feel like grieving certain version of people, like
Oh
grieving, like
yeah.
I think that was big also, like grieving relationships,
Yeah.
like grieving the parent that you never had, like
That was huge.
that
That
one
was a
was for
huge
me
theme.
was deep.
Oh
That
my
was
god.
because like you like a lot of times we are constantly disappointed. If I continue with the example of parents, we are constantly disappointed from our parents because we attach a certain expectation or something, a way that we wanted them to show up. But when you realize that they did their best in their circumstance and where they are right now in their life, like to a point that honestly, like I'm gonna say it this way, and you'll understand. Like to a point that you have to accept sometimes that you're like, as we accept that people are physically handicapped, like your parents are sometimes emotionally handicapped, right? But because they're not physically, like for example, they don't have a, like, if physically you see that someone doesn't have one leg, you're going to be like, okay, I have to adapt to this person in a way that we can walk together on one leg, you know? But you have to see the same way in your parents. So it's great, like when you accept, first acceptance that the parent that you wanted doesn't exist, and then grieving it, exactly like the different grief stages, right? But it's the same thing in the relationships that exist in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So accepting the version of the parent that you never, the version of the parent that you have right now, and then grieving the version of the parent that you wanted and never had.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a big theme for me, and even in my relationships also, because we associate expectations, and that's why we keep being disappointed.
Yeah, that is I think one of my, well, used to be, because I don't feel that anymore actually.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Expectations were always such a huge roadblock for me.
Yeah.
I set such high expectations, such unrealistic expectations, and like, yes, it is in a way, it is part of my human design. I have the channel of recognition, so it comes with desire and fantasy and expecting
Yes.
things, and then it either happens and you're super ecstatic, or it doesn't happen and you're disappointed. But it was like to a level that was just like not just sustainable,
No.
and just being able to let go of those expectations has completely transformed how I feel. Like,
Yeah.
for me, feeling is a huge part of my existence. I'm an emotional authority, and like my emotional waves are a lot less intense because I have been managing my expectations. Especially like for me, like career is a huge aspect in my life. Even like in my astrology, like I have a stellium in my 10th house, which is the house of career, and I was putting so much expectation and pressure and judgment on myself that of course it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. It was feeling stagnant, it was feeling sticky, like duh.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I had to grieve. Okay, so this is a huge thing that happened for grief. It's like I had to grieve the expectation and this idea that I created, imagined in my mind of what I want my career to look. And I had to grieve that version to say, that may never happen. And I need to accept that. And if I can't do that, then I'm stuck in this loop forever. And I was
Exactly.
done. And I literally, it was so painful. It lasted like months, like December, January. Actually, I think it started in November. November to February, this crazy grief to the point where I was like, I think I might close shop. I think I might close my business. Like, I cannot go on like this with this judgment and criticism of myself towards myself and all these unrealistic expectations that I'm not able to meet. And once I did that, and yes, it took time. Like it took me months to be able to feel this. Why? Because I was resisting it. If I didn't resist it, it would be probably different. And I cried and cried and cried and talked to people like my confidants in my life. And I was like, you know what? Okay. And I talked to my partner and I'm like, can you support me if I don't do this anymore? And he obviously, I'm in a great partnership. He was like, yeah, obviously, like you don't need to do this, like whatever. But I couldn't let go of it because my ego was attached to it and what it meant for me to have this whatever career I had in my head, and like just being able to, like you said, let go and like release my hands. I felt free and I was like, oh, whatever, let me have fun, let me not focus on it. And like the desire, the alignment, the creativity, the motivation all came back, but it's coming from a healthy source now.
Yes, exactly.
It's
Because
so amazing.
it's our expectations that keep us in misery, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't expect anything, you there's no chance that you can be disappointed,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
ultimately for me, and like you said too, is was to get to a place that I had absolutely no expectations, you know? Like to a point that
Mhm.
you're like, if anything happens, you're like, wow, this happened, you know? And you're like
Yeah.
grateful for it. And that's the shift I think
Oh
that
my
happened
god,
in
yeah.
me was I went from that expectation and misery of not things like attaching that disappointment to that to having no expectations, letting things happen and respond to it, and then having just gratitude for it. Because gratitude keeps gratitude loves gratitude,
Mm.
and when you're grateful for something, that same energy cultivates another thing that you're going to be grateful for, right?
Mhm.
So I think it was that shift, but I resisted a lot like you. I think November to February was really the
Mhm.
time that was very intense,
Oh
very, and
man.
especially with all the winter and everything. Like we really went through the season, you know? And it was really that resistance and resisting and resisting and resisting to a point that it hurts so much that you have to let go. So that sometimes the pressure is what cracks, right? And I think that was the beauty of the end of this year, of the snake year. It was the pressure was so high that a lot of people cracked even when the timing wasn't the time that they wanted to, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's another thing, right? Like you can't plan things. You can't plan that the time that like you can't plan that this is when you're gonna have your breakdown or when this is when it's gonna be good for you for you to feel your emotions. You're either gonna plan like you're either gonna settle time in your everyday to feel your feelings around everything that you're feeling so it doesn't build up into a big fire and stop you in your rails when you don't want it, or it's gonna happen on the timeline that you don't want to, right? And I think that's one thing also that we don't acknowledge on a daily basis is that we actually have to take care and of ourselves, of our feelings every single day, because your emotions are always there. It's not true that at the end of it, like after 3 months, out of a sudden you had a major breakdown and you had to cry your eyes out, and it appeared that day. You know, every emotion flows through your system every single day. So it's also a question of maintenance, right? And I think a lot of us we pushed it down, pushed it down, pushed it down, pushed it down because they were the big themes of our life, right? They weren't the small feelings that like, oh, I felt this and where was able to move on, you know? Like I think the snake year brought a lot of our core and deep um wounds, right? So I think that's why that it really shook our grounds because it shed light on the big things.
Yeah.
So I think that's why on the if you took the time to do it and actually live through it, I think that's why we're so changed on the other side.
Mhm. Yeah. Um
And I also realized, yeah, you were saying something.
no, no, I was thinking. So you keep talking.
So I was gonna say, I also realized that with when we're saying about the expectations, like I feel like there's a lot of times we attach expectations because we have needs. But when you realize that those needs, the only person that can actually create to those needs and actually respond to them is you, that also makes the whole
Oh my
difference
god, yeah. That
because
is
that
huge.
is huge.
Because that's exactly what I was realizing. I
Yeah,
was putting my need, my inner child's need of
in the hands of
feeling
someone else.
loved, feeling validated in her feelings, feeling encouraged, feeling supported on my business, on the people on the other side. And it's like, I didn't see that for so long until obviously the end of last year, and I started to wonder like, oh my god, I could notice. So this is one huge revelation I've had last year, was that my the dynamic that I had in my business was the exact same dynamic I had with my parents growing up. The exact same. And if you look at
Me
your
too. Same.
relationships, your work, everything. So I have, because of my mom being an emotionally fragile person, and I was the parentified child as a kid, I became her savior, right? I know you can relate to this because I'm pretty sure it's the
Yes.
same for you.
Same thing.
And so I I was showing up online with this savior energy of like, you have to listen to me because I know the way and na 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 na, right? So it's like this super like intense, like almost like I'll call it desperate, like it's a desperation kind of energy. Like you need to, like I know the problem, I know the solution, right? Um, Same dynamic with my mom, and then I was having such a huge ego death when it came to like the engagement on my social media. I used to have so much engagement, so much just movement and energy going on in my community, and like it was dead quiet last year, and I was like, what the fuck? So I kept posting differently and trying different reels and trying to post at different times and learning Instagram strategy and performing more. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I realized I'm like, holy fucking shit. This is the person I am with my dad. If I don't stand out and I don't perform, I get no attention. Yo, the moment
Yeah.
I just knew, and that's the thing that's beautiful about this work. It's like, you just need to know it. The
Yes.
moment you're aware, it becomes a choice to engage in that behavior or not. And it becomes very hard to engage in that wounded trauma bond behavior.
Take time.
So I took a step back and I'm like, okay, I see the lesson here. So then I was wondering, I'm like, okay, does that mean my journey in business is over? Because I learned, like, basically, it taught me, it was a mirror for me to finally realize the dynamic so I could heal it and let it go.
Absolutely. Guys, if
And
you want
then,
to learn about yourself, start a business.
oh my God,
It's the
yeah.
biggest mirror, side note, but yes.
It really is. It's the biggest mirror, but also like the greatest like healing journey of all time. Like
Yes.
some people say it's even more intense than ayahuasca. But anyways, I've never done
Yes.
ayahuasca, so I can't speak to
Me
that.
too, but yes.
But if you, yeah, I don't know, if you just like really look at something in your life that's just not going the way you want it to, and you look a little bit deeper from like an objective observatory place, you'll see that like there is a trauma dynamic that's playing out. And if you can acknowledge it, then you'll be able to feel it, because there's steps to this. You can't feel it until you've acknowledged it, sort of,
Yes,
right? And then
absolutely.
there's
If
the
it's not in
acceptance
your conscious
piece.
mind, how can you let it go, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was wild. That was my little, like, I kept saying last year, I'm like, I feel like I'm on mushrooms. Like I kept saying that to like my friends, and like that's why I literally, and I think like part of me is like why I was never attracted to drugs. This is another side note, is because I feel like I'm already on them all the time.
Absolutely.
So
Same.
like when I did like a mushroom journey, like whatever, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I was like, I'm unwell. I don't like this. Like it was almost making me more dumb
It's crazy.
than enlightened, and I was like, no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not
Not
possible.
saying that I'm already enlightened, but you know what I'm saying?
It's just like I think it's really the aspect of, like when you have something that you birthed, like if you gave birth to a business or something that belongs to you, it was your creation, then that means you like it's like a child, right? Like in the state that you were when you became a mother is what you transmitted to your kid, right? So it's the same thing with your business, right? In the state that you were
Yes.
when you started it with your highs, but also your lows and whatever your insecurities, you put them on the business, on the baby, right? So
Yeah.
that's why as like exactly like a baby grows and you learn and you adjust, it's the same thing with the business. So it's the biggest mirror to you, right? Your
Mm.
kids are the biggest mirror to you, right? So your business is also the biggest mirror because it constantly shows you where you still are ignoring some stuff about yourself, or as where you need to do some work to adjust to feel seen more in yourself, right? Because if you, like, let me put it this way, right? If you are used to pushing down your emotions to keep the peace, then it's what you're going to do also with your business, right?
Mm.
If you want, like, if you like me, I'm gonna give it a personal example and you'll understand. Like me, for so long, I kept like I wanted I was suffering, and I was like, I need to be able to make people understand that I'm suffering and they need to see my suffering, right? Whether it be in my family, relationships, etc. But what was happening, it was I was ignoring my own suffering. I wasn't looking at it, right? Every time something would come up, I was like, no, 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 we can't address this because we're gonna die if we feel this. Literally, that was it, right? Every time I was like, no, I'm gonna die if I feel this. No, I'm gonna die if I feel this. So I wouldn't address it. But then what happens is, because life is a mirror, whatever happens inside of you happens outside of you. That's why when you shift something in on the outside, it shifts in the inside, by the way. Okay. So that's when I realized that I was like, oh my God, like I'm expecting things from people around my in my life, that I have needs, like for example from my parents, if we continue the example. So they love me enough and value me enough, so I they can hear my suffering, and I can be set free. You understand the parallel?
Mm-hmm.
But this also happens in your business, in your relationships, your relationship with money, your relationship with your friends, your career. All of this is linked with your emotions. And this is
Everything in
what
your
I
life.
wish people would understand, that your emotions dictate everything in your life.
Mm. Yeah, the emotions that you don't look at
Yeah.
is what dictates
What you're
how
not
it's going to
what
play
you're not
out.
looking, exactly what you're not looking inside of you will affect and change your reality in your business, in your career, in your relationships, your family, because you're ignoring it on one aspect of it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And we have this thing where we feel so afraid to get to the point where you're like, well, if I'm not focused on getting my needs met from this partner or this friend or this business or from money, then where am I going to get it? And it's like this panic thing of like, then you're stuck in the loop, right? You're trapped in it. But when you start to have that awareness and you accept and you feel your fears about it, like I had to do, where I was like, okay, what if I quit this? Like, what if I never do this? What if this is not the path for me? That was a serious, painful thing for me to accept. And of course, there was this belief in that moment where it's like, if I accept this, it will never, like nothing will work, nothing will happen, or like I'm doomed.
Yeah.
But the truth is that on the other side of it, it's like you're finally allowing the thing. Like you're finally, like I finally allowed myself to return to the basics of when I just started my business in 2021 and I knew
Yeah.
nothing. I was an idiot. Like I was dumbfully joyful, and I'm like, oh, let me just tell people I do card pulls, haha. And then it turned into this whole thing. Like that innocent joy of like just sharing has come back because I was able to let all the other shit die. And look, it's given me a completely new experience and opportunity in the work that I do, and it's allowing me, I can finally show up without that, just the attachments and the energy that was kind of sticky and funky, and I can just enjoy it. And I'm so detached. I'm like, if I talk about this thing, let's say human design, huge thing I love to talk about on my social media. I talk about this and I like talking about it. I'm enjoying the act of talking about it, and nothing happens from it. It's actually fine and great because I like talking about it. Can that be enough?
Exactly. Yeah.
Can it be enough? And yes, that's what I've been allowing myself to do. Before it was like I would judge and criticize every little thing I said, like, oh, what was the point of saying that? Like it's not gonna do anything. Well,
Exactly.
the point is I like to fucking talk about it.
It excites you, it brings you joy, it brings you pleasure, then that's all it. Like we shouldn't, like, when you were saying at the beginning that you went back to that innocence of when you started and how you were sharing and all of that. Why we say that that beginning is like, when they say it's beginner's luck, it's not actually beginner's luck. The reason why you have so much success when you're starting at the beginning, because you have no expectations. You're just preparing yourself to be
This
like,
is so good, Lori. Oh my god, yeah. I'm
like I
having like
always
a
think about it, and if someone says beginner's luck, and I'm like, bro, it's not beginner's luck.
it's because you have no expectations
You
or
have
attachments.
no expectations. You are just doing for the pleasure and excitement of doing something new, and that lights you up. And that's it. So you're just
Wow.
letting life surprise you. That's why it
Yeah.
works. Because
Yeah.
then you move forward and you're like, oh my God, I can have this much success. So you start pushing more, and you're like starting to put expectations. And I want this,
Yeah.
and I want this, and I want to reach this goal, and I want to reach this goal. But then you just fell back in your mind.
That's literally what happened to me.
Yeah. And
Literally.
we all go through this because
Yeah,
at
of
some point you're
course.
like, oh, but okay, now I'm an entrepreneur and I have to do this and I have to goals and this tunnel and this funnel is pakwa, and then you're like,
This tunnel and this funnel.
yeah,
I love
I
that.
swear I always make a joke for it because I'm like, why did this become again something else as a duty to do?
Oh my god.
And I think that
Exactly.
it's such a trap that we fall into, even if you think about it, even in relationships, that's what we do. Why does that at the beginning feel so good? And then at some point, you start attaching expectations, you start expecting things, and then things shift. And you're like,
Yeah.
Why have you changed? But the person didn't change. You attached something different to that person. You started expecting something from them. So everything starts with you. And when you realize that, that's when you have to constantly bring yourself back to I'm detaching myself from the expectations. I'm going to let this person show me the person that they can be. I'm going to let my business show me what it can be. Because even if you put those goals, what if those are limiting goals? What if you think that that's the ceiling
Yeah.
for you, but maybe life can literally go above and beyond if you
Yeah.
just let it and lead with your excitement and no expectation.
And that's usually the case. And I'm
Yes.
like even more now going into deep, deep, deep human design. And I'm like realizing how anything that we choose consciously with our mind is not self. Because our mind is not the decision maker, right? And in human
Exactly.
design, we talked a bit about this, but like it's not our authority. And I'm learning that like you actually don't get to choose. Like, if you
You
come
really
down to
don't.
the basics of it, like you're a generator, you're here to respond. You're a manigen, you're here to initiate in response. You're a manifestor, you're here to initiate and inform, projector, whatever, depending on your thing, waiting for invitations, whatever. But the thing that we all have in common is there is an aspect of waiting, okay? And what are we waiting for? Even if you're a manifester, there is an aspect of waiting. You're waiting for, if you're a manifester, waiting for your authority to let you know when it's time to move. So if a manifester even has to wait for their authority, the truth is that we do not, if we are really in this experiment and we are aligned, it's our body that chooses. It's our authority that chooses. And I've realized, like, holy shit, the amount of friends and just business strategies or the type of work or the type of shit I was putting out there, like, was when it was chosen from the mind, it doesn't fucking work. And it causes so much distortion and garbage and all of this. And like I'm really surrendering to my experiment of letting my emotional authority decide, which takes a lot of fucking time, which I was resisting forever. But now I'm like, holy fucking shit. It's leading me fucking here. What the fuck? And I'm like, and I like it.
Yeah.
And my head is freaking the fuck out because, like, really? Are you serious? And like, my head wants me to do other things and say other things and whatever. And it's just like, we really, I think I'll die on my deathbed saying this. Like, we don't give, we are living in a mind on a pedestal reality, and that's crumbling now, and we are returning to our bodies. And that's why everybody's lives are crumbling post snake year and everything. Like, all the shit that's no longer in your life, it's because of this. It's because your body didn't choose it. Your
Exactly.
mind chose it. Oh, I should be with this person because they're the same religion as me or the same culture or the same whatever. Oh, I should do this job because people say I'm good at it, but I fucking hate it. Like, those things are not going to be able to
Anything that
follow
you start,
you.
yeah, yeah. Anything that you started with the should do is disappeared.
Yeah.
Is gone. Because you shouldn't do anything. You shouldn't have to do
Mm.
anything, right?
No. Oh my
Yeah.
god. That is a huge one. The shoulds. Like, how many of us, if not everyone, we all have a should in our head. Oh, I
Yeah.
should do this. Oh, I should do that. It's like,
Oh, who said who?
no.
Yeah.
No, you fucking don't. Literally, Lori, just before this, was funny. She was like, she had a book, right, to put under her mic to raise her mic. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, I use this book more for a mic stand than I do read it. I need to finish it. And I'm like, no, you don't need to do shit. You don't want to read it? Don't read it.
Exactly
That
that.
simple. And imagine how, okay, how will your life change if from this point forward you only did the things that you felt like doing? And when I say felt, I mean felt, which means in your body,
Yeah.
not the things you think you should do. Like, what do you feel like doing? And then imagine if you never did anything ever again that was involved with shoulds. Like,
It's
what would happen? Would you
crazy.
be happier, healthier? Like, what?
Like I did that experiment and it changed my life. It
Oh,
changed
yeah.
my life. Like when I was like, I'm gonna let go of the shoulds. I'm not gonna do anything that I should be doing. I'm gonna do everything that my gut is telling me to do. And it's crazy how
It
much my life
is.
changed.
Mhm.
Because
And
it's
the
in the
same,
small things. There's so many things that you should in the small things too, right? And a lot of small things result in the big picture.
yeah, because
So
it's
yeah.
like the way you do one thing is the way that you do all things, right? So it's like even the way you're like, oh, I should eat this for dinner. Well, that infiltrates in the rest of your fucking life too. Um,
Yes.
mm,
Yes. Because when you're in that mindset, you're in that mindset. You shouldn't be doing anything out of fear. You should be doing it out of alignment, out of excitement, out of joy, right?
yeah, yeah. And like for me, it was that the shoulds of the business, they were running my fucking life. Like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I should have an email list. I swear to fucking God, dude, the email list thing is my worst fucking enemy. Okay. I hate, first of all, I don't even open my emails. I'm the chick, okay, that has, and I will fucking show you if you're watching this on YouTube. Wait a minute. I'm that girl that has 1900 unread fucking emails. I hate them. So why the fuck would I send them?
Yeah.
Okay, I've had an email list and then I ghosted my fucking list of 100 people. They never fucking heard from me again.
There
Why?
you
Because I
go.
don't want to do it. It's like, can it be
Yeah.
that simple, please? Can we
Yeah. Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, where did all this bullshit come from of like, I
It
have to
is
do
that
this?
simple. Yes. It is that simple,
It
Jen.
is that simple. And guess what? I still have business.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking email list.
That
Oh, guess
that's why
what?
you
I don't
know.
even have a website and I don't even have landing pages. So figure that one out. One plus one equals what? I don't know.
But that's when you
Oh
understand
my God.
that it's not a one size fits all situation.
Oh my God. That line right there. Like, nothing is a one size fits all. And that's what human design, the whole point of it is. It's like we live in a homogenized world, but we are individual beings and we're
Exactly.
moving into an individual world. So
That's
it's
why.
only more normal that we're all going to be doing different things. And that's going to be the new normal versus like everyone doing the same thing. Like follow this one expert and this one guru and do that. It's like, no, that doesn't actually work.
Like it's crazy to me. It's like how we keep on saying everyone's like, ah, everyone's unique, everyone's different, everyone has a different color, different
Be
light.
yourself,
Be
but don't.
yourself, but when it comes
But do what I fucking tell you to do. Send an email, motherfucker. Send the fucking email. You better have a sequence of 10 fucking emails to send your stupid fucking thing that you
if
don't even
not,
like.
if not, you won't be successful, you
Yeah.
know? But it's the same thing in everything. Like it's like the same thing for business, the same thing for health, like whether it be your emotional health or physical health or whatever. Everyone's like, follow this formula and you'll be fine. But like,
You need to go to
hello,
the gym.
right? But it's like,
Not.
how can everyone's bodies be different? How can everyone
Yeah.
respond to things differently? And then you're like, no, 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 but do this formula and you'll lose this much, or like be healthy. Hello,
And guess what? None of us are healthy. Hello.
hello, you know. So at some point, you're like, come on. Like I think your body has a lot of wisdom and knows exactly what you need. All you have to do is to shut out all the voices so you can actually hear your body.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we're in that space now. We're starting to slowly become more okay with, oh, maybe my body does know what the fuck it's doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking pumping your blood for you and making you breathe, and you're not thinking about it. So yeah, maybe I would fucking listen to it.
Exactly. Like we're all constantly like in this. You need to do this more, and then we wonder why people are confused and lost.
And why we hate ourselves and why we hate
Yeah.
our life.
We're like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, take this vitamins, take this supplements, do this for your business, say this to your partner, text this, like talk like this. And then you're like confused and are we're all depressed and like don't want to leave our houses, you know? Like I
Oh my
wonder why
god.
we're so overwhelmed, you know?
Okay, I really want to ask you this. Can you like let's do a little mini permission slip moment where it's like what are three things, Lori, that like
Mhm.
the world says you should do or whatever, but like that you refuse to do? Like you're like, "No, my authority says no." Like can you just share three things?
I refuse to go to the gym when all my body is craving is to go walk for an hour. That is one, because I feel like every single time that I listen to my body, the way the movement that I want to do, it always heals me. Always, always, always. So first, being the environment and choosing the movement that I feel aligned with. Two, showing up when I don't want to show up. Like if my gut is like today, I don't want to show up on like I don't know social media or in person or whatever it is, meeting someone. If my gut feeling is like today, I don't want to show up, then respecting that I don't need to show up. So
Yes.
releasing myself from those expectations. And I think the last thing, this is a good question. The permission slip. I think it would be as simple as giving myself permission to just really let go. Giving myself permission, because a lot of times, we're like, well, it comes back to the shoulds, right? It's like, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this in order to be successful. So just completely let go of everything that I'm hearing and just actually doing. Well, it comes back to the permission slip. So basically accepting my
Yeah.
permission slips. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Accepting that I can give myself permission slips.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Because I
Nice.
think after a while it becomes that I'm like, why can't I accept my permission slips? So that
Hmm.
would be my answer. What would you
Hmm.
answer, Chan?
Hmm. Oh, a great one is I do not give a shit about wake up times.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I was always influenced and whatever, like, wake up at 6 a.m. and go for a fucking morning run. No. Okay. No. I wake up when my body wants to wake up. And
Yeah.
this is something I had to radically accept because I'm an emotional authority. So if you have emotional authority, you're going to be someone that needs exponentially more sleep because you're processing emotions and you don't know what the hell it is. Your conscious mind can't comprehend the depth of the solar plexus. So I let myself sleep. I
Yeah.
sleep and I sleep and I sleep. And I don't even sleep that much for someone who lets herself sleep so much. Like, I'll wake up at 9:30, sometimes 10, sometimes 10:30. The days where I feel more low, it might be a little bit later. Like sometimes I wake up at 8, 8:30, like whatever. Okay? Sleep
Yeah.
times, I don't fucking abide by that
I
shit.
agree
Okay?
100%.
That's number 1.
100%. Because your body knows how much you need sleep. Like, who's gonna dictate that you need 8 hours of sleep? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now the other one is that I don't really eat vegetables. Oh my fucking
Mm,
god. Yeah, I don't.
crime.
Uh the only vegetables I'll eat is like I'll eat some root vegetables, like I'll eat potatoes sometimes, maybe some sweet potato, maybe some cabbage rarely. I like fermented vegetables, like little couple spoons of it. But yeah, I don't really eat vegetables and I'm perfectly fine and I don't care what anyone has to say about that because for the years that I have eaten vegetables, I've been not feeling good. So,
Everyone's
I listen
digestive
to myself.
everyone's digestive system is different.
Mhm.
Your body
Yeah,
knows what it can break down and what it can't, right?
exactly. And your
Yeah.
human design will help you figure that one out too.
Absolutely.
I'm
This
trying to
is
think
why
what
I can't
else.
get away from human design. I swear it's crazy.
Oh, this one will be probably interesting. Interesting that this is coming up. Another thing is that I don't make myself feel bad or anymore.
Hmm.
Keyword. I allow my partner to support me financially.
Yeah.
And
Big
I
time.
I really allow him to do that. Why am I going to bang my head against the wall when he has a more established business than I do and he's making whatever he's making whatever
Good.
he's
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
good money, okay?
Yeah.
And he wants to,
Support
spoil
you. So
me
why
and
would you not
support
let
me,
yourself?
and I'm
Yeah.
supposed to refuse that because I have an ego that wants to do it all herself?
Exactly.
No. So I allow myself, and even being as a projector, to not work a lot and to allow myself to be supported. And I think a lot of projectors, like, maybe that's something you needed to hear, you didn't want to hear, you wanted to hear. Um, but that's the reality of being a projector, honestly. Like, if like, you need help, I'm sorry, you can't do it alone. Like,
No.
you need fucking generators and manigens in your life to help you. And that doesn't mean they all support you financially or whatever, not like that, but you can't do anything alone. You can't even guide alone. You need the other person there. So,
You're a non-energy type, right? So you need that energy. Absolutely.
and like, when people are like, whatever, they'll be like, oh, so, like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I have this, like, I have an online business, but, like, I don't really work. And, like, I do my husband's laundry, and I do the dishes, and I clean the house, and I cook meals, and yeah,
Hey, yeah,
yeah,
and that's perfectly
that's my
fine.
permission slip for you.
You shouldn't be doing anything that exactly that. That's your permission slip. That's your permission slip. I'm curious if you guys want to share your permission slips.
Yeah,
Put a voice on it. Put it on, like, on, make words, make it concrete, and write it in the comments. I'm curious to know what your permission slips are. And sometimes when you voice it and you acknowledge it, like we said, you make it happen. So why not share
yeah,
with us?
yeah. Let us know too, like, that, and like, what are the things that, like, the world says you should do, but you're just like, no, I refuse to do this. Like, we want to celebrate that, because that means you're actually listening to yourself.
Exactly that. And remember, when you are at your best, you serve at your best. So take care of yourself. Always make sure that your needs are met, and you are excited and joyful, because when you are at your best, everyone around you will benefit from it. So I
Yes.
think that's the key takeaway from here.
Yeah. I think that was a really great first episode back.
Yes. Wow. I'm so happy to be back. I love having these conversations with you, Chan. And I hope
Yes.
we get to have many, many more beautiful conversations to come in this season with all of you
Yes.
too.
And remember, you can always submit your questions in the comments or email us.
If there's any topics you want us to cover and talk like this about, unfiltered, unhinged, about
Hmm.
certain topics, then send them our ways. We'll be happy to discuss them and talk about them. We really love our beautiful community. So thank you for being
Yes.
here.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day. See you next time.
Bye.